pale right now, but I'm doing okay. I'm gonna try to do okay. All right. A lot of people don't know how to like stay productive when they're sick. I know I just have to like remind myself of every single time that I've been not sick and still not been productive. Also, it takes a lot of vitamin C. A lot of also a lot of B vitamins too that I take. Um, and not only that, I mean, it takes a lot of kind of willpower and stuff to be able to not like fall over. Uh, oh man, not just willpower, but energy as well. That's why I drink energy drinks and water. Lots of them. Mostly water. SUV wheel set. It's pretty tight. Um, uh, there are a lot of times where I don't get the whole gist of what I'm actually trying to do, or people don't get the whole gist of what I'm actually trying to do. But it takes a lot of concentration and a lot of oh man, a lot of just basically where the fuck am I? Um uh thank you. Yay. Um uh need to basically oh, that's bullshit. There was a dude I was supposed to get. Um, there are a lot of times when I get sick and still do the things that I want to do. And the reason why is because I'm very stubborn sometimes, and sometimes I need a stubborn person, or not a stubborn person to be able to tell me when it's time that I had enough. But I do that anyways, because see if we can get some stuff.
Come in, have a seat.
Oh wait, I can't rob it this time. But yeah, I'd say that there are a lot of times when you think that you can't go any further. And I say to that,
let's not pussyfoot around.
fuck you. Nah, I don't really care. Oh my god, I'm gonna make another train. Yes! That was so fucking tight. Yeah. I'm so happy what I did right there. Oh my god, that was freaking tight. Yes. I'm so happy right now. I'm just gonna stay right there for a little while. We're gonna talk about meditation. A lot of people think that there's like crystal stuff that helps you or something like that. I'd like to say to that, there are a lot of times in my life where I believe that in like really fictional things, to be able to get my willpower to move over to a functional thing, I guess, or a functional motivation, I guess. I believed in a lot of shit that was just, that I thought it was like fake, because I knew it was fake. That's the reason why I believed in it, though, because it's not gonna change, basically, because of me, because I can't affect it in any way. Oh god dang it. there are more times in your life that you're gonna feel like you can't go on or you can't do anything that matters. I think that it's a testament to a lot of people and a lot of things that you kind of need to like feel it out the moment to see if you're actually up for it. And I think there are a lot of people that don't really believe in themselves, I think. And that's the kind of stuff that I kind of like to stay away from. There are a lot of people that kind of think that no matter what they do, they're not going to achieve greatness because it's few and far between or something like that. And I kind of try to stay away from that because it's like, it's kind of setting a blanket statement to say that I'm not going to do something just because it hasn't been achieved. And look what I just did. I just landed on a train. I'm amazing. Woo! And but a lot of people like to piggyback on your successes sometimes. Like to say like, oh man, dude, just because you did that and I get to do this, and you'll get to pay attention to me. And it's just like, yeah, that's cool. I want to. I really would like to. But like, hey, you know, I got on a train, you didn't. No, I'm just spitballing kind of. Look at all the beautiful landscapes. Look at the windmills, the trees. I landed on a train, man. It's freaking tight. Just parked it. Parked it fucking good. It's fucking tight. Just gonna keep on going. I've had a lot of successes kind of bite me in the back sometimes. My dad has got a lot of successes that have bitten him in the back too, but he had a lot to do with him falling and failing and stuff like that. I don't know if I had anything to do with my successes kind of falling and stuff like that, but I had a 3.8 when I started my senior year. I mean, granted, I had gym and art and all those other different things, but I was good at art, and I'm good at gym, and I dressed out every day, and I don't know, just it seemed like there were like more opportunities out there that I should have been like looking for. I think if I would have kept my 3.8, then I'm sure that I would have like kind of like sucked it up and then like done my research papers, but I wound up with a 2.4, so, and that's because I got A's all down the board in the last thing. I don't know, man. I was just pretentious and fucking, I was all in my own shit and stuff. I'm not gonna do it all over again because what's the point? Well, I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize that like, that they're the key to their own success. Like, well, their attitude basically could be the difference between them failing and succeeding at something. And a lot of times my attitude was not the best, and that's where I think my successes kind of turned into failures sometimes. Like when I tried to go to college and realized that not only did I wasn't taking the right medication, or not the right medication, but the right number of medications. I was kind of like kind of spot studying, I guess. Where a lot of people were, where a lot of people were being, supportive. I was like kind of, not morally supporting myself, I guess. There we go. We're going in the tunnel. I'm just gonna keep on doing this. One episode is gonna be this. Most of the time I think that, when it comes to success and failures, it has a lot to do with your specific kind of, thing. Let me see if I can get out of here. God damn it. I can't, and that's where success can bring you. And that's what I think I was afraid of, is, whatever success I think you pull off is like the thing that defines you. And not that that's a bad thing, but there are plenty of people that have gotten success over like a period of time in their life that was like later on. And I think that all that fancy college stuff, or like all the stuff that actually like you think that you're gonna make or something like that, they all it all comes down to like one thing, really. I was like, did you learn enough, and did you learn like everything you needed to learn? Oh fuck. The more I look into it, the more I already learned all that stuff when I was a young kid and stuff like that. The more stuff that I learned, I mean, it's just the more details I think you learn along the time. It's like, you know that numbers are divisible. You know that numbers are multiplicatable. You also know that it's like formulas, basically. You're learning formulas, and math and science, I think, go hand in hand. But I think that a lot of times people don't realize that social studies and a lot of different things have a lot to do with creative thinking, I guess. And it has a lot to do with being able to see and be aware of your surroundings. And so it's got a lot to do with math, but I think it doesn't have a lot to do with what people would call applied physics, I guess. And it's more a lot to do with that than it does with anything that anyone learns in school, I guess. And the more times I see people learning shit in their own, like, domicile, the more I realize why things wouldn't be whatchamacallit, oh shit. The more I realize why things wouldn't be very profitable. Yeah! We did it. So, to be defined by your own success can be just as damning as being defined by a failure. It's like the dude from Star Wars. Everyone from Star Wars, it's like they didn't get a lot of other acting roles without people saying, hey, that's the dude from Star Wars. And that's the reason why they're famous. It's not because of some novelty acting trait or the fact that they're better at acting than anyone else. It's the fact that they were in Star Wars. and that's where they get recognized. And that's where I think a lot of people don't realize that successes can define you. And I think when successes define you, you start to realize that that success is starting to eat at you just as much as a failure would. You don't, so like me jumping on that train kind of lasted a little bit longer than me, realizing some sort of, I don't know. And I'm not going to say that words. You ever heard somebody say it is what it is? That is the most blanketed statement that I've ever heard anybody say ever in my life. It is what it is. Like, it's like, I don't understand it, but hey, I'm gonna leave that alone, sort of thing. I don't know. A lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say that in my life, basically. And I'm just like, kinda over it a little bit. Like, it's like, no, it's not is what it is. It is what it is until it isn't what it is. And then it changes, because change is usually constant. So, I don't know. Oh, see, wait, we can go into job. Alright, there we go. I think if you make your successes defined, make a defined success, then that's valid and everything like that, but a lot of people don't realize that, they'll realize that those successes can be damning in some senses and make you not be able to get certain jobs and basically cut you off and pigeonhole you into a certain number of a certain number of realizations that you shouldn't have to realize, I guess. That your first success, I think, and this is what I've been afraid of, is the basis on which you define yourself off of every future success, not excess, future success. I think that the more you start to define yourself as an artist or any sort of creator or whatever, or any person, I guess, you start to try to one-up yourself, and as I realized that I was trying to one-up myself, and you can't let that define you, I think. Can't let you can't let those definitions of who people think you are you can't let those situations define you when you can't let those situations define you when a lot of times what you really hear is as that success being ingrained into your reflexes for future consumption, basically. There are a lot of times when I find myself not run out of juice, but over exerted sometimes, and I find that that when I'm over exerted, I think that I should extremely slow down, you know.
Looking forward to getting ripped later.
I know.
I think there's a lot of times when in people's lives where they seem to look after this one
How's it hanging? I told Madonna. Put it up $1. Yes, she was. Did you see that Miranda Cowan sex tape? Holy shit. Whatever.
and must have done a lot of stuff to be able to
What the fuck, dude?
But yeah, there's a lot of times when I didn't believe in doing those things that basically made me look like I was a complete success in my life. For that simple fact that I didn't want to be a complete success. I wanted to realize that no, everyone's a loser. Kind of. Not everyone has the right things in mind, and pretty much everyone's just guessing, I guess. So I think that there's a lot of times where people don't realize that
Hey, the retard over there! Get lost! Ah! What the fuck? What the hell?
more I think about my successes and stuff like that, the more I realize that they were followed after by like certain things in my life that I wanted to get done, you know. And it wasn't just like success after success or anything. It was me wanting to be able to believe in myself a little bit more every day. And the more I believed in myself, the more I was like, this is actually gonna work, you know. Like I can actually start like living my life the way I want to see it, the way I see it, you know. I think that's the biggest success ever. It's not like how much you can make people like you or anything like that, but it's how much you can enjoy and still be able to enjoy living in your own in your own skin. So, and I get angry, so I mean, not always angry, but I don't believe my own words sometimes, and I get impatient, and I think that maybe it's not gonna work sometimes, and I just get real clammy and cold, I guess, and I don't see the difference that I'm making sometimes, but I guess it works out in the end. So, I mean, not the end, but at the end of a situation, or the end of a certain thing that I'm actually doing, or end of a project, you know. The more I realize a certain situation in my life is going awry, the more I realize certain goals that I've made for myself are kind of unrealistic sometimes. Like, I mean, I know I'm gonna make like $10,000 eventually, but to think that everyone would be actually interested in something that I want to make without them being like I don't know, I'm gonna have to pay taxes on it too, and it'll affect my disability, so, you know. I have to think realistically too, every single time, because if I don't make more money after that, then I'm basically kind of like fucked out of my own disability, and I'm gonna be making nothing, basically. And kind of ruining that, I guess. The more I realize what I'm actually doing and how I'm actually doing it, the more I realize that my successes aren't based on some sort of like chart. I guess they're based on my, like, reaction of how I'd like to succeed. Like, they're based on my wants and my provisions and my natural resources and shit like that. So, and also, like, mechanical resources as well, which I don't have a lot of right now. So, I'm actually trying to get the things done. What are those little things? The frickin', I don't know, just... there have been more times that I've seen the difference that I could make, and then not done anything, because I think that once I realized that what the situation was about, it was just like a back pat, basically. You know, it wasn't something that I could put on my resume. It wasn't something that could actually help me in the long run. But it was just something that I could talk about at a bar, or like talk to a certain person, and then make them have unequivocal expectations of my actual abilities. So basically, it's just me talking at a bar, basically. And I had to realize that, like, my dad and a bunch of different people, that's all they cared about. Like, I mean, for a certain point in their life, they just wanted to be able to tell the story, you know, or share the story. And I think that a lot of times in my life, I don't want to share the story because, I mean, first of all, it's giving a piece of some part of myself away. And then the second part is I don't see the difference in trying to make I don't see the difference in trying to make a certain part of myself realize a certain thing without actually taking into consideration other people's, like, wants and what they want out of a situation, how they want out of a situation, and whether or not I should be forgiving in some way to be like, oh, it's your time to shine. It's your time to shine, not mine, you know? And I'm not gonna, like, because that would make me not be able to work with a team, I guess, in a certain sense. But in the same sense, I think that a lot of times I'm kind of judgmental about people who basically are, like, carefree and stuff like that. Because I don't believe that being carefree is gonna make you money, you know? I mean, granted, it could be, but only after a while of influencing and or inferencing that you are carefree, I guess, or inferencing that you can still take care of business while still having a carefree mindset. You know, only after by telling someone that you're a professional, that you want to be professional, that you are a professional, that you want to do certain things in your life. Only after that is someone going to take you seriously on the inference that they want to give you money for being able to bring people in on a certain thing that you're trying to do. Let's see if I can get another car. There have been a lot of times where I noticed people out there were I don't know. That's the reason why I didn't really find it lucrative to care about whether people. There have been a lot of times where I find that the inferences that people make can kind of affect marketplaces pretty much, and the more that I realize that those inferences can make Um, the more I look into certain things, though, I think that a lot of time I've found that people can sort of look in the other direction sometimes whenever I'm doing something, you know, of any lucrativity. It's not that I don't see the difference that people could make. It's that I'm taken back by what people can say about each other whenever they're not around, or do behind each other's back. That can basically mean the ends of friendships, basically. And people can think the world of someone, or like the fact that they're I don't know, they're just I've seen a lot of different lies, I think, in the lifespan that I've had. And through that, I think a lot of times I'm not too surprised when someone lies to me and tells me something that happened that they just didn't understand, I guess. But I think the bigger target they're looking at is trying to manipulate me to do something that they want me to do. And the more that I look into it, the more that I'm unsatisfied with the way that they're treating themselves. And that's where I think our friendship kind of ends, you know. It's not the fact that they lied, it's the fact that what they're doing to themselves is just the stupidest shit you could ever even understand. It's the fact that they're making themselves look like they're just amazing, when in actuality they're doing things to themselves that are just undesirable, and like they're just keeping on doing it, you know? Kind of like me smoking and still being sick. I realize that everyone's hypocrites, you know, but it doesn't really take away anything that I've ever seen anyone do, or that I've ever seen anyone like come up with. It just makes me leave notions of frivolity to what everyone says, and the notion that it's not always someone or something that you're trying to you're not always getting to know someone. You're not always making a better connection. You're not always doing something that involves what's the word? You're not always making friends. And that's the hardest part about success, that I think is to... Yeah. You're not always making friends, and the friends aren't always there for you to be around. And that's pretty much the hardest part about any success, I think. Fucking goddamn it. I couldn't have died or else the thing gets away. Bonnie lost. Fucking pieces of shit. I think believing in yourself is the most important thing. And that brings you to the success that you want to have, I guess. Because, I mean, when you realize that like, that not everything is about success, I think that's when you start succeeding the most, and making not only money that you can bait on, or you can bet on, not like money you can bet with, I guess, but money you can bet is going to be there no matter what. But you start making a better situation for yourself, and actually saving, and not doing stupid shit. You know, not gambling or making whatever money you think you can because you don't think it's going to last that long, you know? I've realized that a lot of times whenever I was actually doing something, I think the more you look into a lot of different stuff, the more you complain about things that you think you can't change or you think you can change, I think, and like the more you'll care about the nickels and the dimes and things like that. But it's like at the same time, it's like the more you plan for the nickels and the dimes, the more I think you'll realize that the happier you'll become, basically. Like me going on the train the first try. It's fucking tight. It's only because I've been practicing a bunch, and it has a lot to do with the fact that I kind of offset my my own want to make it on the train, and also luck, because I didn't know that the train was actually going at that certain point. But the game likes to make you think you're a good driver. See, then it reminds you that you're not. Yep. So no matter if you're sick or fully okay or anything like that, through perseverance and the want to succeed, I think, in a certain area, the more you will succeed. But also to realize that the more you succeed, the more you'll be expected to succeed in that certain area, and when you don't, people will just fall off like they always do, because everyone wants to be around success, you know. Everyone wants to understand what it's like to be successful. And they feel as though that if they're around success, then it's like the old times when people thought they could eat each other and then gain each other's powers and stuff. Except way more disturbing. And more having to do with blood than anything else. It's thought that if you're around positive people, then you gain positivity, basically. I think it's like that, kind of, but not really exactly if you're not putting an effort forward to actually be positive. Yeah. But I think the more you try to be positive, the more you're actually, no matter what your environment is, you'll be positive. You know, you'll be more positive than anyone else and realize that your positivity will basically be a better solution for mostly anyone, I guess, that ever decides to be positive. Or a better, like, light torch, I guess? Not solution. I don't know. I don't write this shit down, so it doesn't matter. And I try not to, because, I like to speak directly from, what I'm feeling at the time. Because I'm thinking about every single thing that I'm doing, and I'm not trying to, going to this freaking
back to your whole shit, dick! Yeah. Oh, no, no, no!
Heavens! Christ!
What are you doing?
Let's do this.
What the ass? That's how much are you? You're blind.
I'm gonna make myself a dude's gang. It seems wrong right now, but I know I'm gonna get over it and realize that it's just a game. I know that I'll get over it eventually. Shut up. You fucking criminal. He's not a criminal, he's working on a means to pay it off. And also... Also, I don't get that whole theory why people are like in the, I don't know what it is, man. It's like people think that just because someone's around in a certain period or a certain time that they're a good person, I guess. You know? So you can say that, like, oh my god, he put in the time and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but because he's a crazy person and will deal with unsurmountable odds just to get off. It's like, there are also logical thinking people who don't think about that constant shit all the time. Who don't think about unsurmountable odds to get past, to somehow be able to create some sort of better future for someone. So also a person can be like, hey, I'm just going to avoid that situation altogether, and then I'm going to take this route that seems more plausible. It's like, there's that, you know? That's crazy to me, is like... It's like all that stuff, like, that you see on video games. It's like there's stuff that led up to those parts, you know? There's stuff that led up to those situations happening, you know? And it's not just like, oh, there's like, you gotta go through this area, and if you don't go through this area, then you're not gonna be able to go to do the boss fight. It's just like, no, don't go through that area, because there's obviously things that want to hurt you. It's like, don't do that. It's like, why would you go through a certain area and realize things that want to hurt you, and like, it's like, I guess it's the experience or something like that, but that's only for like people who would only be turned on or basically be would realize that area is the only way that they would what's the word, that they would be satisfied, or with their own, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. It's like you have a choice to go inside or outside. Inside the thing and then outside the thing. It's like you don't go inside the thing when there's people in there that can hurt you. Whether they be undead, zombified, anything. Doesn't matter. You don't go in there. You just don't. You can make a new building. You can't make a new you. I mean, technically, it's plausible to make a new you, but I mean, you can make a new building. You know, a lot easier, and a lot less complicated. You know, no gene therapy. No nothing. It's just like, don't do that thing that people think you should do all the time, because that's I think where people don't realize is the ending part of where success actually finds itself, is where people want to go, I think, and where people will actually try to manipulate a person into going. And that's where I think my biggest fear actually is as far as success goes. I can come up with any excuse I want to, but that's the excuse I'm sticking with. So, it has a lot to do with how much people will want you to do once you become successful. And, that part scares me a little bit. You know? I don't want to, it's mostly become successful, but I don't want to be exactly famous, you know? Because the more famous you become, the more shit people can pull over on you, and you'll just be like, whatever, I'm famous, sort of thing. I eat all my meals for free. No, like all that shit, you know? Yeah. And believe me, the less of an influence you become, the more you'll be used to eating those meals for free and not actually getting them. So, I mean, and once those people realize how much of a douchebag you actually are, they're gonna be like, wow, we should have never freaking liked this guy. Taking Bill Cosby, for example. Or Johnny Depp, who knows? People can be very stupid in times of messed upness, and, people, I don't know, man. I don't agree with it, but, you know. I mean, I agree with being, like, I don't like them, but... Let's go to my garage. Oh, cool. Most of the time I think that there are actual people out there that care, and that don't like constantly want you to jump through hoops for them, but because that's the essence of what I think an actual person who is successful does. They're gonna jump through hoops, basically. They're gonna, and whatever hoop you jump through, I think defines your situational career or whatever you really feel like getting into. And if it defines you to jump through hoops for people, then you might as well make money for yourself eventually and get on the stock market, you know? And you can make a lot more money than you ever could doing anything else besides that. You just gotta look at the numbers. It's really easy to do. And the more times I look at it, I think that people don't understand that I kind of found my little success, you know? Sometimes. I found what I wanted, and nothing is going to change that, you know? No one can take that away from me or tell me that it's not real, because I myself made it up, you know? I kind of wanted that positivity to be able to make something for myself and eventually be someone who I would be proud of, and not just my father or my mom, or make them proud at all, because it's not just about them. It's not just about who I can make proud. It's about how I can be proud about myself, you know? How I can be a better person for what I believe in, you know? And how I believe in it, you know? It's like, and the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of realizing that I've kind of tucked myself away into this little corner, I guess. And the more I tuck myself into this corner, the more I kind of lose touch with my success, or whatever success I have. And I'm okay with that, because I'm not really one for success all the time. I don't want to constantly be at the behest of everyone else. I wanna be at my own behest. I want to be able to have control over my own situations, and I think that the more that I think about that, the more that I'll be able to come to a conclusion about what I want for myself as far as success goes. So, yeah. The more that I realize projects that I want to be able to accomplish, no matter if they make me money or not, you know? The more I'll be able to put on my resume, the more I'll be able to work for different companies, the more I'll be able to freelance, the more I'll be able to do a whole bunch of different stuff that I really want to do for companies that I really want to work for, and I'll be able to take that money and reinvest it into stuff that actually I want to be able to look for in my life, you know? Cool stone hatchet. Oh, tightness, that's cool. So that's what I believe, and that's what I think, and have my success not be defined by anyone else around me, you know, and to constantly come up with original ideas, you know. That's what I want to be able to do, but not like in a certain way where I'm like at the behest of everyone else, and constantly trying to come up with new ways to be able to make everyone pay attention to me. I want a few number of people to be able to pay attention to me, and then to be able to cater to those people, and then realize what they want, and then eventually get to the masses, because I gotta work my way from somewhere, you know. As long as I get back to the house, then I won't be. But there's more than just like success. I want to be happy, so, you know. And it's not gonna make me happy to just like be the puppet, you know, or the puppet master, because I don't believe in that bullshit. And it's not that I don't believe in that bullshit. I just don't want to. I don't want to be the person who promotes that kind of behavior inside of a vacuum, basically. Inside the vacuum that basically makes me more susceptible to people's rants and ravings than what could be just a realistic goal that I want for myself. Alright. So that's it. Played this entire thing by myself, and it's not that lonely once you realize that people aren't gonna forgive you. People aren't gonna help you. That's what you have to realize. People aren't gonna do things for you, and that's what you have to understand. But the more you realize that you can do things for yourself, and you should do things for yourself, and not give a shit about what other people think about you, because they're not feeding you, they're not helping you, they're not pushing things on your table. Even your parents sometimes. They're not going to help you remain alive when all you want to do is hurt yourself. But realize that the more you push towards a goal, the more you realize that that goal wasn't what you were looking for. It's acceptance. And the acceptance was from the fear of you not being accepted for just one person, I think. And that's the reality of it, is are you accepted from that one person? Are you accepted, and do you feel accepted? And if not, then should you be accepted somewhere else? Or should you be accepted with someone else? Or even the realization of the fact that the more you are accepted, do you disdain that acceptance because of the job itself? Or because of you just not liking anything, that you're doing? Happiness is always about what comes first. So just realize that, and you are your own metaphorical personal bomb squad. You can defuse situations that happen, and you can make sure that there's a brighter day and a brighter future just by picking the career that you think is the best for you, and that you know is the best for you. Be yourself, and don't just be who you think is the best. Be who you make. Because there was a time when all these characters and all these things that people make up and put on movie screens and stuff like that, there's a time when everyone thought that they were just the stupidest fucking characters of all time, and they stayed around because people believed in them, because people loved them, because people made them, and because people actually made Tableman and Chairman and all those other different kind of characters who have terrible names but really fucked up pasts. And be yourself, and alright, have a good day.